Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are featuring G.I. Joe Classified Series Snake Eyes and Timber, the Alpha Commandos 2-pack. Alright, so the Snake Eyes that we have here is based off of version 1 Snake Eyes, and what's kind of interesting is that it was version 2 Snake Eyes that was released, I think, back in 1985 that came with the original Timber figure. So I thought it was kind of backwards because with the Classified series they released version 2 Snake Eyes first, and I just thought it was kind of weird that, you know, version 2 is the figure that should have came with Timber. But looking past that, you know, I think it's great that we're finally getting a Timber. I know many fans were trying to find like some sort of proxy until Hasbro gave us an official one. But it's great. We have an official Timber. It's even cooler that he comes with a swappable head. So you can either make him look, you know, angry with his teeth out and he's snarling. Or if you want Timber a little bit more subdued, like when he's hanging out in the pit, you know, he looks nice and calm. Snake Eyes looks great. It's Commando Snake Eyes. And I might fall into the minority, but I actually prefer Commando Snake Eyes over version 2. Like, version 2 looks cool, where he's kind of like stealth and ninja-like, but for me, I kind of just like the real-world aesthetics of version 1. You know, this looks much more of a Commando to me. The box art's nice. There's a nice but muted graphic of Snake Eyes in the lower right corner. Again, all his perks and abilities can be deciphered on GIJoe.com. Nice portrait of Snake Eyes and Timber. A beautiful poster illustration of the Classified series. I always think it's kind of a tease that they show the vehicles, because I doubt we'll get any of the large vehicles in 6-inch scale. Alright, so let's get started with this. How do we open this? I think we open. Okay, so first impressions of the action figures while they're still in the tray. They look fantastic. I'm very excited to get version 1 version of Snake Eyes. Timber, I think it's a great I don't know, it's a great companion piece. It's kind of like Shipwreck. You know, Shipwreck needs Polly. You know, Snake Eyes needs Timber. So yeah, let me take a look at Timber first. This is really eye-catching to me. Alright, this is great. I love the fact that, you know, Hasbro is giving us a 6-inch scale, highly articulated animal. The sculpting on this guy is really top-notch. The fur texture looks great. Let's take a look from the other profile. Yeah, really well done. Just look at all the detail on the fur, the snout. Now this is Timber with a nice calmer demeanor. Yeah, really lovely sculpting throughout. Yeah, I don't think fur is something that's easy to do when you sculpt. Let's take a look at the other head. So this is the angry Timber face. This one looks wild. It's awesome how he has like a scar right above his eye. Yeah, this portrait really captures the ferocity of Timber. I'm kind of curious how easily these heads swap. Let's see if I can pull this off. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Very small peg. It's a ball joint on the inside if you're curious. And I think this just plugs in. Doesn't want to. Wow, this is tight. Just wait. Alright, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, but this is a very stubborn fit. Wait, does this one plug in easier? Yeah, for whatever reason, this other head's very tight. I'm not sure if the socket's this smaller. Alright, yeah, I got it in. Yeah, this socket was a lot tighter than this one. Let's get it. Alright, so there's Timber with the much more ferocious looking face. Alright, so in terms of the articulation, wait, real quick, let's take a look at the size. So Timber, lengthwise, he's about, let's say, where am I at? He's about 6.5 inches long. Height-wise, you're looking at something that's about, it's about 3 3/4 inches tall. Articulation-wise with Timber, as we noticed earlier, he had a ball joint, so his head rotates. Lots of motion. He could look up, he could look down. Where his neck is, it's also articulated, so I think it could slide up and down. Yeah, it could slide up. It's kind of a tight fit. Slides up pretty high. Slides down about there. His front legs articulated on ball joints, so they could close in, go out. Articulation right there and at the ankle. It's kind of a... Everything's so tight on this guy. Just wait. Alright, so he has articulation as ankle, but then there's an additional articulated piece right here. Alright, so articulation there, and then articulation at the ankle. Same with the back legs. There's articulation here. This part here also allows for swivel. Articulation right there, a bend, and then again at the ankle. Much like the front legs, I believe these are on ball joints, so they could go out. And then mid-torso, ball joint, I think. So he could twist his body, go up a little, go down. And then the tail's articulated, could go up and down. And it could twist also. So yeah, great accessory, awesome. It's cool to get an animal action figure. Alright, let's move to our main event. Alright, so for now, I'm just going to leave the accessories inside. I'm not really too concerned about that. I'm more so concerned just about the action figure. Alright, so over here we have Snake Eyes version 1. This is the much more commando looking Snake Eyes. As you can see, really nice detail. Great sculpting on the sleeves and the under armor. The face mask looks amazing. Nice clean detail on the vents and the goggles. The goggles are actually appears to be like a glossy black, so there's some standout and contrast between that and the helmet. The vest here is a separate piece, much like we've seen on other G.I. Joe Classified Series figures. Great detail here. Lots of pouches. He has an additional. He has a holster on this side. Looks like he can keep the pistol and the silencer. A sheath for his knife. A peg on the back for his. Does not come with a backpack, but there is a peg there. Yeah, great detail all throughout. The sculpting is really well done. I also love the subtle details, like the difference in the sheens of black. You know, some elements stick out a little bit more than others. Alright, so here's a front view. There we go, nice clean looking snake eyes. Profile. Here's his back. Yeah, the detailing is really nice on this figure. Lots of nice texturing. In terms of this guy's articulation, his head rotates. You can look down. You can look up. See if I can get his head to go back. There we go. You can look up about that much. If there is an ab crunch, it doesn't want to crunch because this vest here is very stiff. So he's not going to crunch or lean back. He has a waist swivel. Arms rotate. They go out. Bicep cut so he can rotate. Double pinned elbows. Wrist articulation. It's very your standard stock articulation for a G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. His legs kick up. They kick out. Thigh cut. Double pinned knees. Ankle articulation. Yeah, very, very solid effort. For me, this is kind of, like I said, version 1 Snake Eyes is the much more definitive version of Snake Eyes. Like this a lot. It's great. Okay, since we're on the subject of Snake Eyes, let's compare him with the other figures. Okay, we have the first Classified Series Snake Eyes, which is based off of version 2. And over here we have the budget G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes. It's a much smaller figure, but I do like this design a lot. Okay, so side-by-side comparison with version... Alright, so this is actually version 2, but this came out first. Versus, you know, the Alpha Commando one right here on the right. Wow, I'm kind of surprised with the difference in proportions. As you can see, the Alpha Commando, he has a much larger head. I did not see that coming. Yeah, this one looks to be more realistic in its proportions. This one, I think, for me, this one, the body type, like the way the silhouette of the character and the musculature, it feels and looks a little bit more like a superhero Marvel's Legend than like a more realistic figure. But then again, I don't know what's going on underneath this vest. But for the most part, I think this one's proportions look a little bit more realistic. This one is it's a little on the lean side, but also a little bit more superhero-like, especially with the broader shoulders and the narrower waist. But yeah, the difference in the head size is kind of throwing me off. I didn't expect this one to be as small in terms of the head. Yeah, I do like this. The more I look at this figure, the more I'm liking it. And the more I look at this figure, the more I'm just kind of noticing all these flaws. But at the same time, this was a first release in the Classified series line. I'm sure if they do a second pass on this guy, you know, there'll be some improvements. Not that I want to sound like I'm hating on this figure. I think it looks fantastic, but you know, handling this figure, the differences is kind of like night and day. This one feels like a little bit more thought out. It's a cleaner figure. It feels a little bit more solid. This one's going to win in terms of articulation just because it has the ab crunch. But this, I don't know, there's something about this figure. It just feels more refined versus this one. Back to back. This one's a little taller when you stand them back to back, I think. Might be wrong though. Yeah, just like a hair taller. But the difference in the size of the heads, it's not super drastic, but when you look from a front point of view, this one looks more realistic in terms of its proportions. You know, this one has a kind of like much more thinner, narrower, ovalized head, and then with the shoulders drooping down, you know, kind of gives them the appearance of having a longer neck. But both great figures nonetheless. If you're a Snake Eyes fan, you know, you'll probably want both of them in your collection. You know, if you only had to choose one, it's kind of a toss-up because, you know, if you're a big fan of like the stealth ninja Snake Eyes, you really need Timber. So that's why I kind of need this set. But if you're just a fan of this, like, you know, old school Snake Eyes, I think this one's not that it's an easy pass because chances are you probably already have this figure, but I don't know, I like this one a lot. Commando Snake Eyes looks awesome. And then here's this guy. He's kind of sad looking next to the other figures, but you know, this is part of the budget toy line, and I'm kind of very fond of it. And before we wrap this video up, real quick, on the subject of Timber and Snake Eyes, here are two additional pairings of the much beloved characters that we got over the years. This is the smaller 4-inch scale G.I. Joes. This is from the movie line Rise of Cobra. I love this figure. This is Snake Eyes Paris Pursuit. It's Snake Eyes in a trench coat, and he comes with Timber. Looks awesome. Somewhere in my house, I have the original old school Timber, but he's like in a baggie somewhere, and I gotta dig him out. And over here we have Snake Eyes, Ninja Commando, and he comes with Timber also. This was part of the Pursuit of Cobra line. I think this was their 30th anniversary line. This is like actually my favorite line of G.I. Joe figures. These were awesome. And this one's a much more realistic version of Snake Eyes also. It's kind of a weird mix because this one's almost like a weird mix between Commando Snake Eyes and Ninja Snake Eyes. Like, he kind of has a uniform very similar to this guy, but his head is actually like version 2 with the visor. And then there's Timber. It's kind of cool. If you had like a bunch of these, you could pretend these are like the pups, and this is like, you know, the alpha. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. Great figures. You know, for me, solid 9 to a 10. I think they're a must purchase if you're a Classified fan, and a must purchase if you're a Joe fan. So wrapping this video up, once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So, until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll talk to you at the next one. Alright, later.